These hands have buried 4 careers that people said were the future, and made a fortune from 2 things nobody believed in. I'm 89. I don't have time to lie to you. Segment 1. The opening. My name doesn't matter. What matters is that I was 22 once. 1962. Everyone told me, get a trade, get a pension, get safe. I almost listened. I didn't. And I've watched, from this very chair, these last few years, I've watched young people make the same mistake I almost made. Except now it's faster. The world moves faster, and the punishment for following bad advice is worse. So I'm going to tell you what I wish someone had told me. Not because I read it somewhere, because I lived it. I lost money on it. I made money on it. And I watched good people waste their whole lives on it. That tends to make a man very clear about what's true. Segment 2. The 2 boys. I knew 2 boys in my neighbourhood. One, the clever one, top marks. His parents were prouder of him than of anything they'd ever done themselves. He got a good job, a real job, and for 30 years he was fine. And then he wasn't. The company changed. His skills were stale. Nobody had told him that the certificate on the wall had an invisible expiry date. The other boy, nobody thought much of him. Teachers sent letters home. He couldn't sit still, couldn't follow rules, thought every instruction was an invitation to argue. You know what he became? He became rich. Not because he was smarter, because he was wired to find his own way, and he was never given the option of following someone else's. Here's what I've come to understand after 89 years of watching people. The school system doesn't teach you to succeed. It teaches you to comply. And complying is fine, until the thing you're complying with disappears. That's not the school's fault, by the way. It was built for a world that needed lots of people doing the same thing reliably. That world is shrinking, and a new one, messier, faster, stranger, is taking its place. The question is whether you're going to be ready for it. Segment 3. Finding your talent. There's a lot of talk now about finding your talent. People make it sound complicated. I'll say it plainly. Every person I ever met who made real money, not lucky money, earned money, was doing something that felt natural to them, while everyone else was struggling to do the same thing. Some people are born to bring order to chaos. They see a mess and their hands start twitching to fix it. Some people take anything apart in their mind, a price, a business, a conversation, and they can tell you exactly where the floor is. Some people can walk into a room full of strangers and walk out with 3 new friends and a deal. And some people, you put them in front of a blank page or a blank screen, and something comes out that nobody else would have thought of. None of those is better than the others, but here's what I'll tell you from experience. The man who spent his life fighting his own nature, trying to be something he wasn't because someone told him to. That man was always miserable. And he was never very good at it either. Find out which of those 4 you are. Write it down on a piece of paper. Put it somewhere you'll see it every morning, and from that day forward, refuse to waste your best hours on anything that goes against it. Segment 4. The 5 ways to earn. Now, the world has changed in the last 10 years in a way that has never happened before in human history. For the first time, the very first time, a young person with nothing but their mind and an internet connection can build something that earns real money. Not pocket money, life-changing money. But most young people don't know what to do with that. They're told about it, and then they're given a list of options, and they pick one at random and give up when it's hard. So let me tell you what I'd tell my own grandchildren if they asked. If you're the organizer, the one who brings order, learn to build systems that save businesses time and money. Businesses will pay handsomely to have someone else carry the weight of their chaos. Whether that's building a funnel, automating their admin, or just running their back office properly, that's your lane. If you're the analyst, the one who spots what's broken, learn to identify where a business bleeds money without knowing it. Repetitive tasks done by humans that a machine could do. Patterns in what sells and what doesn't. That knowledge applied is worth more than most salaries. If you're the communicator, the one people naturally listen to, learn deal-making, introductions, sponsorships, partnerships. The person in the middle who makes 2 other people rich has always been paid very well. That hasn't changed, and it won't. And if you're the creative, the one who sees things differently, learn to build the face of businesses, their brand, their videos, their identity. Because in a world drowning in sameness, the ability to make something distinctive is priceless. Businesses know this, they just can't do it themselves. The specific tools change every few years. What doesn't change is this. Businesses will always pay good money to make more money, save time, or save money. Keep that in mind, and you'll never be irrelevant. Segment 5. Learning while earning. Can I tell you the single most damaging thing young people are taught? They're taught that you must be ready before you begin, that you learn and then you earn. That is backwards. I have never, in 89 years, met a person who learned more from preparation than from doing. Not one. The moment money is on the table, real money, not pretend money, the way you learn changes completely. Your brain works differently. Your attention sharpens. Your mistakes actually cost you something, so you stop making them. I had a grandson, well, I'll not embarrass him by naming him. He said he wanted to make videos for businesses. He'd been making little films for years, just for himself. But he said he wasn't ready to charge people. I told him, get out there and try to sell it. Today. Not when you're ready. Today. He did. And most people said no, but one said yes. And that yes taught him more in a month than 3 years of practicing by himself had. That's how it works. You define what you do as simply as possible, not the grand vision, just the first step. You sell it imperfectly, nervously, expecting rejection. You deliver it. You figure it out as you go, because now you have to. You fix it. You look at what went wrong and you correct it. You systemize it. You build it so it runs properly. And then you go around again. Each time better. Each time worth more. The loop doesn't end. That's the point of it. You don't arrive. You just become more valuable with each rotation. Segment 6. Positioning, 1530 to 1730. There's something else I want you to understand, and this took me years to learn, so listen carefully. Two people can do exactly the same thing to exactly the same standard, and one gets paid 10 times more than the other. Not because of skill, because of how they describe what they do. The person who says, I build websites, is competing with every other person who builds websites. The person who says, I turn your existing visitors into paying customers, that person is offering something entirely different. Same technical work, entirely different conversation. Stop talking about what you do. Start talking about what it does for them, what it saves them, what it earns them, what problem it removes from their life. That one shift right there is worth more than any course, any certificate, any qualification. Segment 7. The close. I've talked a lot. You'll have to forgive me. At my age, you get tired of watching people make the same mistakes over and over and saying nothing. But here's what I want to leave you with. The world is not against you. It's just indifferent. It doesn't care whether you succeed or not. It will pay well for value, whoever provides it. It will ignore you if you make yourself forgettable. The young people I've seen build something real, and I've seen a few, all of them had the same thing in common. They knew what they were good at. They went out and used it before they felt ready. And they cared more about what they gave than what they looked like giving it. That's it. That's all of it. The rest is just detail. I'm 89 years old. I don't have time to tell you things that aren't true. You do what you want with this, but don't say nobody warned you.